everyone. My name is Robby. My story is that I grew up in a Christian home, went to Christian school all my life. We went to church on Sundays, and so I heard the gospel message often growing up. And when I was 9 years old, I prayed a prayer accepting Jesus into my heart, and I tried to follow him from there on. But as I got into high school, I started to wander from his commandments, and I started partying and drinking, and that became a habit pretty quickly, and I was getting drunk every weekend for the end of my high school and throughout all my college years. And throughout these years, I tried to still maintain my relationship with Christ. I tried to spend time in his word and spend time in prayer, but I was a hypocrite, and I acted like a Christian only when it was convenient to me or only when certain people were watching, and I wasn't living right. And throughout those years of partying and drinking, there were plenty of times where the Lord tried to get my attention. There were nights that ended poorly or came close to ending horribly wrong that should have woken me up, and still I held on to my selfish desires and turning away from him. And he finally did start to get my attention last September when after a day of all-day drinking, that night I stumbled out of the house that I was at and went missing. My parents had to look for me. They had to call the police to look for me, and I was found the next morning at a neighbor's house on the back deck with no shoes or socks on, freezing cold, trying to get into somebody's house. And that should have been what woke me up right away, and it somewhat did. I knew that I needed to make a change, and it confirmed something for me that I already knew about myself, which was that I needed to quit alcohol and the partying for good. But after that situation, I told myself and others around me that I was committed to not getting drunk anymore. So I still left myself that opening that I could have a drink when I wanted to. And so the not getting drunk anymore went okay for a couple months, but I started to get comfortable again and started to fall back on some old habits. And then finally, on a Monday morning this past March, I was just sitting at my desk in prayer, and I could just feel him wrestling with my heart. I could feel him in the room with me, just convicting me of my sin, and I was overwhelmed with the shame of all the times that I had turned against him, even though I knew what was right. But I was also overwhelmed with the fact that after all those times of turning against him, he still wanted me. And like the good shepherd, he still stayed after my heart and kept trying to save me. And so finally on that day in March, he helped me decide to fully surrender myself to him, surrender the ways of my past, the drinking. I decided to completely quit, and I'm being baptized today as a representation of him saving me and just the new life that I have in him.
Amen.